Now, here's a hot take that's going to piss a lot of people off. Northern whites and Southern whites are not the same thing. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, okay? I'm a Black woman who comes from a very white background, a very white experience. I'm adopted and my entire family is white. I currently live in Georgia, which, if you don't know, is in the southeastern part of the United States. But growing up in the Midwest, I've been to pretty much every single Midwestern state. I've been to Missouri. I've lived in Iowa. I've been to Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kentucky, Ohio, Nebraska, Kansas, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, Jersey. I've been a lot of places, okay? I have had a lot of experience with white people in the North and a lot of experience with white people in the South. Now, this Nolan Wells issue happened in Mississippi. And what I'm here to say is this never would have happened if this boy lived in Illinois or Wisconsin or Iowa. The reason that I'm saying that is I have grown up with so many white people. If you live in the North, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oftentimes, white people in the North, in the Midwest, they are our greatest friends, our greatest allies, and something like this happening in those places is simply unheard of. Now, as for the southern part of this country, I'm talking about Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Florida, and some other questionable states. Kentucky, Tennessee, I can't really vouch for them. Texas is another one you got to watch out for. These states, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the white people who live in these states, I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something off, okay? And it's a race issue. This is a Jim Crow issue. This is an issue of the mentality of the whites in these states is so far behind the white people in the North. The white people in the North are elite. If you are a white Northerner, the chances are you are hundreds of years ahead of the white people who live down here in the South. Now, are there exceptions to this rule? Absolutely. All rules have exceptions. Many of these conversations that we're having around race, I find so interesting because I have both the Black and the white perspective, so I can see things from both sides of the fence. I just wanted to drop that on y'all. I don't know if you can handle it or not, but if you really want to talk about race in this country, Nolan Wells would not be a thing if he were from, I don't know, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Columbia, Missouri, or even from the town I grew up in, Galesburg, Illinois. These things do not happen. They simply do not happen as often as they do here in the South. And as Black people, we need to be mindful of our surroundings. And that goes for where we live. It comes down to where we live. Where are you in this beautiful land of USA? Where do you live? Context clues. They teach you about context clues when you're in like first grade or something. You need to have context. I'm not saying that you can't be in the South and have white friends. You need to be very conscious, very intentional, very aware. What about a buddy system? There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack.
And her brilliance and her beauty, that she will reciprocate the pain, the agony, the devilish behaviors that he did to her. He thinks she will then reciprocate it and do it to him. That, my friend, is an example of how white America has been towards Black Americans. You forced us into a marriage, thus slavery. And then throughout the years, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, civil rights, even on up, you have been abusive. And in that time of abuse, you did not want us to learn, so we had to open our own schools. You did not want us to read, so we had to sneak and read. You did not want us to have financial independence, so you all the government created something called redlining, where certain banks they wouldn't back loans that were lent out to black people in certain areas. The GI Bill was created to help all veterans and to get homes, but it did not do that for blacks when it first started. So America has abused us and tried to keep us down because God forbid black people know who they are, bond and work together. You have two fears. One is that you will no longer have the control, and then you'll have to do your work yourself. You don't have anybody making you feel superior. And secondly, and I think this is the biggest reason why you all still want to be the oppressor, is because you fear that we will do to you what your ancestors did to us. That's it. So I liken the relationship between white Americans and black Americans to the relationship of an abusive husband and an abused wife. But thank God that wife had enough strength and fortitude and gumption and moxie and faith to get the hell out of that marriage. And now she's soaring. We, black people, are soaring. Y'all be blessed.
One of the biggest mistakes people make in interracial relationships is thinking love is simply enough. It's not. Awareness, accountability, and unlearning are just as important. And as someone who is mixed race, I've seen firsthand how identity, history, and privilege shape relationships, whether people realize it or not. So here's some things being mixed has taught me about navigating an interracial relationship. 1, identity is complex, and that's okay. I'm white and Asian. My partner is black from the South. Our experiences with race are not the same. Being mixed has taught me that identity is layered, and that includes my partner's identity too. So instead of assuming I understand his experience, I ask, I listen, and I recognize that no one owes me an identity that makes sense to me, okay? 2, political context and history matters. Race isn't just about personal identity. It's shaped by history, politics, and systemic oppression. I make sure I understand not just my background, but also my partner's in a political context. What systems have shaped his experiences? What stereotypes and biases affect him daily? If you don't understand these things, you're not fully seeing your partner. 3, colorblindness is not love. I grew up hearing people say I don't see color, and let me tell you, that's not a compliment. Ignoring race doesn't make racism go away. It just means you're avoiding the uncomfortable work of addressing it. Love isn't pretending differences don't exist. It's respecting those differences and the ways they shape someone's lived reality. 4, relationship dynamics can be wild in interracial relationships. As a mixed person, I know what it's like when family members don't fully understand or support my racial identity. So if you're in an interracial relationship, be prepared for difficult conversations with both of your families. And if your partner faces ignorance or microaggressions from your side, it's your responsibility to address it, not theirs. 5, privilege exists even in interracial relationships. This is a big one. Some people in interracial relationships refuse to acknowledge the power dynamics at play. If one of you benefits from white privilege or any form of privilege, it's not just a personal thing. It affects how the world treats you as a couple. Recognizing privilege doesn't mean your love isn't real. It means you understand the full picture. 6, I don't walk through life as a black person, but my partner does. No matter how much unlearning I do, no matter how much advocacy work I'm involved in, I will never fully understand what it means to be black in America. My partner does. And when he tells me something about a situation with police or security, workplace dynamics, customer service, literally anything, I believe him. I don't argue. I don't center myself. I believe him because I don't walk through life the way he does. It's not about me getting it. It's about trusting his lived experience. 7, unlearning internalized white supremacy is never-ending work. Now, this one is especially for white people in interracial relationships or those with white partners. If you think you've done the work and that's enough, do more. Keep doing more. We all grow up in a system built on systemic oppression, and if you aren't actively unlearning and addressing the parts of you that still unconsciously believe those lies, you will pass that on to your kid. And when it becomes their burden to unpack, you're going to feel some type of way, they're going to feel some type of way. You can be the kindest, most well-intentioned person, but that doesn't mean that you're free of bias. Love doesn't erase racism. You will always have work to do. So at the end of the day, love isn't just about feelings, it's about actions. Being in an interracial relationship means showing up for your partner in ways that go beyond love. It means learning, unlearning, having hard conversations, and challenging yourself constantly. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not ready for an interracial relationship. Okay.
I genuinely want to know why Black men make dating so difficult. They make it.
Hi, I have an answer, and it's simply because they don't have money. So I've been thinking about this a lot as it relates to my personal dating life. A lot of my friends who are Black women who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who have been struggling with dating, who prefer to date Black men, and have been doing it in comparison to my white peers and some peers outside of like other races, but specifically my white peers, as to why we all went to similar schools. We all went to similar schools. We all have similar educational backgrounds. We all work similar jobs. For bar, we would say we would live very similar lives, except I just oscillate in primarily Black spaces and they oscillate in primarily white spaces. With that said, I think it's because white people, but specifically white also men, are raised in the way that they have generational wealth, but a generational wealth mindset, meaning that they saw their parents get paired off and married, within their 20s. They have grandma's ring and heirlooms. They have a house that they know that they will inherit. They have a mindset knowing that even if they lose their job at Goldman Sachs or in tech or whatever, that they have this sort of privilege that they know that they'll always be fine and they know that they'll always be able to take care of their family. So even though they're in build mode, they're not necessarily worried that they would lose everything. And I think that mindset is different for Black men, meaning that they spend a lot of their 20s and even in their early 30s really trying to play a game of like financial catch up, really trying to get themselves established. And because they're playing that game, they play games in other areas, meaning that they don't necessarily take things seriously in terms of getting married, having kids, buying a home, starting family, because those things require money. And if you don't have it, they're not necessarily going to, just take those things seriously. And again, I was just really thinking as to like why I'm in my late 20s. A lot of my friends are in their late 20s to early 30s, and we're still like dating and on dating apps and dealing with games and all the shenanigans that come with dating Black men. But then when I look at the Jennys, the Tiffany's, and the whatevers of the world, a lot of them who I have worked with or work with, why they all, ironically enough, got engaged all at 27, 28, around the same time. And it felt kind of like sorority-like, very systematic. And again, it's that peer influence around them. If they see all their friends doing the things, and this goes for men too, they're going to go do those things as well. If they saw their parents do it, they're going to go do it as well. And I don't think Black men saw it from their fathers, and they also don't necessarily see it from their peers around them, so they don't also feel kind of that social influence to do those things, especially for Black men in major cities like a New York, LA, a Chicago, a Miami, maybe even Houston. Maybe in the South it might be a bit different. But yeah, there's more I can say on this, and I've been doing a lot of research. I'm actually going to write an article about it, just the differences and nuances between being a Black woman dating versus like my white contemporaries and their dating experiences. But yeah, the one factor that it boils down to is money. And if you don't have it, you're not able to progress forward in dating.
So I just went to brunch with a couple of my homegirls after church, and there were 5 of us. 4 of us were Black, 1 was white. And the 4 of us Black girls were single, and the white girl is in a happy, healthy, thriving relationship. Her partner is Hispanic, and they have been dating for a few months now, but like the normal progression, met, hit it off, went on a few dates, got in a relationship, long distance right now, meeting parents soon. Like, the normal. Okay? No gray, no limbo, no nothing like that. And then me and all my Black homegirls are talking about our relationship status, and all of us are single, for sure. All of us are like actively dating, some more active than others, but nonetheless single. But then we're kind of telling the stories of like the guys that we're talking to or have gone on recent dates with, and like these struggle stories are insane. And for reference, we're all in between 27 and 29, maybe 30. Why is this the commonality with me and all my Black girls? Like, faithfully. Not just this group of Black girls, but like so many. My closest friends, my Black girlies that I've met on assignments, out, like all my Black girlies that exclusively date Black men are on a struggle bus. And a part of me is like, just get off the bus. Date other races. Start dating any other race. And there is something in my stomach that immediately just gets sick at that thought. I want Black love. I once read this article, and it was saying how Black women need to start dating outside of their race because it's not working. Like, it broke down all these statistics and all these things. And I did a poll on my Instagram story. Like, would you rather date down or date down within your race? So date down with a Black man. So, you know, let go of some of your non-negotiables, a man that makes less than you, a man that, like, whatever your non-negotiables are, date down from those, or date white. And a majority of Black women said they would rather date down. And I'm like, what is the chokehold? I'm asking myself, what is the chokehold? Like, I myself would rather date down than date outside of my race. And it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I wish I had more to say than that. I am very frustrated with dating at this point, and I get the girlies that are like, decenter men and focus on your relationship with God and focus on your friendships and da-da-da-da. And that's what my 20s has been all about. My friends, traveling, catching a fight, doing whatever I want to do, spending money willy-nilly. Like, that's what I do. Like, y'all not trying to come home to the same person every day? Y'all not trying to fold his laundry? Y'all not trying to cook dinner? Y'all not trying to go to Pilates after you make your kids lunch? Oh, we got different goals.
If you choose to date somebody outside of your race or ethnicity, it is your fucking duty and your responsibility to learn about their culture, their heritage, and everything that makes them who they fucking are. I don't give a shit how fucking Americanized they fucking seem to you. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much they integrate into an American society, there are still going to be an ass of people, as you can fucking tell from the shit that's going on in the media, that are still going to deny their right to be in this fucking country. That includes the people of color that came here forcefully to build this country for free, and that includes the people that came here by choice to make a better life for themselves. You cannot claim you love somebody and then deny their struggles when they are presented to you. Dating somebody doesn't mean that you respect them. And please, for the love of God, if you choose to have a child with this person, acknowledge the fact that your child is going to have a multicultural background. There is not one race or ethnicity that is more dominant than the other. I would definitely say there's a lot more responsibilities that come with interracial dating. And if you can't handle it, don't be in.
This is something that I've noticed about Black women. Not all, of course, because I'm a Black woman and I don't think like that. But I kind of find it very disgusting or weird is that we tend to, as Black women, overly punish Black men for what we deemed as disrespectful or weird towards a Black woman. But if a white guy does the exact same thing, if not worse, but he dresses it up a little bit better, kind of has like a player tone to it, and he panders by saying sweet words to her, then it's looked at as okay because, for one, he's white. You're projecting your own interracial fantasies onto this guy or interracial couple. Prime example, Love Island, right? And I've spoken on this show before, where Taylor, a black guy, hasn't really been honest with Alandria about how he truly felt since day one. But my thing is, what has Taylor done that Nick hasn't done, or Pepe or any other guy has done on the show, in exchange for their own beneficial gain, which is, for this particular show, the $100K prize that is split between the two couples. So because Taylor has been shown saying that he doesn't find Alandria attractive, he doesn't pretty much want to show too much effort in the real world, that would make sense for Taylor to be condemned. But on a damn TV show where we're trying to win some money, technically, is he wrong? Yes, he could have been honest, but it's a TV show. Why would I tell her that I'm not attracted to her when I don't have any other options? I'm going to link up with somebody that's compatible to me on TV so we can both benefit from it. Yes, is he not being honest, but it's not like she's also not, a part of the prize money as well. But because people are projecting their own issues that they've had in real life with black men, to hell with Taylor, and let's, build this whole fantasy of Nick and Alandria that's clearly not genuine. I'm not saying that Nick doesn't find Alandria beautiful or funny or whatever, but again, if he was so into Sierra, who is a non-black woman, why didn't he not leave with Sierra? Why? Because he still wants the money. And then on the flip side, I don't like when we overuse the term phrase, we don't protect black women, when black women was tearing down another black woman, who is Clark, again, projecting your own inner hatred by saying that she was making faces and stuff like that. In real life, you do have women that don't like other black women when they feel like they are being overlooked by the man that they want and the guy doesn't want them. So this TV show has really shown me how people view dating in general.
To love and intimacy. Marriage rates have gone down across the board in the United States, but it has gone down a little bit more dramatically within the black community. Marriage rates have gotten worse too. Let's establish, marriage does not equate love. In the 1970s, we see a little over 35% of African American men are unmarried, and in 2020, 51% were unmarried. Trends were similar for black women, where in the 70s we saw around 27% of black women were unmarried, and now we're seeing a little over 47%. I want us to understand that there is a difference between marriage, love, and intimacy. Marriage is a commitment that you decide to make to another person in front of your God and your friends and family. My definition of love is an emotional commitment you make to another person where you hold their heart and they hold yours and hopefully protect it. And intimacy is a closeness that you feel with anybody. It doesn't have to be with your romantic partner, but it is preferred if you feel intimate with them. So intimacy doesn't have to mean sex. And sex can be intimate, but it also might not be. But remember, looking at the data can hide a lot of underlying social currents. Just because people aren't married in the black community doesn't necessarily mean there isn't love and intimacy within the black community. For example, take the stat that around 70% of African American children are born to single parent homes. But when we look deeper, we also learn that African American fathers are some of the most involved fathers in the United States of America out of any racial group. So when we look at the psychology of that, children don't grow up to be well adjusted just because there are two parents in the home and that they signed a document and are willing to agree to stay in this relationship. They grow up because they have people in their lives that teach them how to be the best version of themselves, whether they are married or not. Involvement is important. And so I don't think these decreases in marriage statistics are the things that we should be focusing exclusively on. But my perspective is the area that we should be focusing on is intimacy. And one thing that is psychologically required for intimacy is vulnerability. And vulnerability is very difficult if you are dealing with a long history of trauma, and you can also inherit trauma from your ancestors. So from my perspective, it's not necessarily some men are from Mars, women are from Venus nonsense. It's not that women are too independent and don't know a good man when they find him, or men are demanding submission from women and can't expand their perspective to see a woman for who she is. Don't get me wrong, these are challenges. But at the center of it, when we have lots of trauma that we can't escape because we live in a system that is constantly traumatizing us over and over and over again, how do you sit in vulnerable intimacy with your partner and allow them to enter parts of you that nobody has ever seen? And in a way, society is telling you you can't let anybody see. How do you actually build a relationship with another human when everything in society is telling you you're not worth it, you don't deserve it, and it's not for you? I think this is largely a societal problem and less of an individual problem. But individual work is also important.
I don't understand why white people think they don't need lotion. My boyfriend and I have been living together for almost a year now. And it's come to a point where it's just like, I can't beat around the bush about shit. You know, and I've been telling him, baby, you know, you need to start putting lotion on. Because, you know, it's not like black jeans are amazing, but we don't look so young for so long just because we're black. Like, we moisturize our skin. Like, your skin it's not gonna be able to stretch good. You feel me? There's no elasticity because you don't never wear no lotion. So if you move a muscle, you know, it's gonna crack and break. That's why you get wrinkly and stuff, because your skin can't take it, because it ain't no moisture. And I'm trying to get him to understand that, baby. He don't give a damn. And it's not like white people don't get ashy. It's just like he'll be ashy as fucking wait till the last minute to put some lotion on until his knees cracking. You shouldn't have to medically treat your elbows and knees. Babe, I need Aqua for it. No, you don't. You need Suave. You need cocoa butter every day. Like, what are we talking about here? And then we constantly going through this thing where it's just like, man, all you gotta do is, come on, man. What are we doing here? Y'all gotta really know what y'all getting yourself into when y'all try to be in these interracial relationships, because this shit is really getting to me, bro. You're flaky. You're mad flaky, bro. Lotion, please. Why is this a battle? It's just like trying to get a kid to brush their teeth. Like, it's just like, it's not gonna kill you. It's gonna do you good. Put a little lotion on, get moisturized. And I get at this point, you know, no, I want to give up, but I can't give up. I gotta fight for him. I gotta fight for moisturization. Because I can't see you fall through the cracks, babe. I'm gonna be 30 and you gonna be 70. We can't do lotion. Babe, lotion, because it's gonna catch up to you.
White people are trying to figure out how and why black people have collectively withdrawn from this country, essentially.
So it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the black community is responding. The black community en masse has completely withdrawn.
And it's clear to me that a lot of y'all have never been in a toxic relationship. And unfortunately, I have. But let me tell you how this goes. In a toxic relationship, you usually have one person who isn't shit, right? It's usually the man. And the man is, emotionally abusive. He is a cheater. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. He gaslights. He's narcissistic. But he also has a lot of potential, right? He also can be very loving. He also promises things to come in the future, right? He also can be very exciting at times. And those things keep the woman around. But when things are bad, shit goes up, right? Windows get broken, cars get scratched up, TVs get shattered, broken glass everywhere. Just a lot of chaos in these situations at times, right? And this goes on. These ebbs and flows, these ups and downs go on for years sometimes. But at some point, the abused party in his relationship just completely wakes up and decides that he or she is over it, right? And when that happens, there is no blow up. There is no broken windows. There is no shattered windshields. There is no scratched up cars. There's just calm, right? There's folded clothes. There's neatly packed possessions, and that person decides to go on about their business, and that's where black people are with this country at this point, right? Like, we're just sick of y'all shit. And we're not going to protest. We're not rioting. We're not doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? Most of us are just simply withdrawing, going on about our business and surviving like we know how to, like we have always done since this country, since before this country was founded.
We were watching football, which led into a conversation about someone that I had slept with, and so we were talking about it, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, put back a little bit, and I was like, "What do you mean, what?" And he was like, "He's black." I was like, "Yeah, I'm fucking aware." So I was a little put off by it, but then he got like super intense, and he was like, "You fucked a black man?" And I was like, "Sure."
How many times we got to tell y'all? I'm gonna have to Dr. Umar this one. How many times we got to tell y'all? How many times do we have to tell y'all? When I tell y'all, I commented on that video and I said, y'all be thinking we making this stuff up. And it's not just old white man. It's not no old 65, 70-year-old Trump supporter that lives in the woods. These are our colleagues. These are people we work with. That girl was probably like 28. So she's probably dating people 25 to 35 years old. I don't want to make any assumptions, but I see this all the time. Y'all be thinking we making it up. These people are the hiring managers that are prejudging black men. These people are your colleagues, your coworkers that sabotage you at work when they don't want to work with you anymore. And they start rumors about you, and all of a sudden things are going downhill for you at work and you're not having a good time anymore. These are the guys that we have to work with in corporate America. And this dude had the nerve. He had the nerve to comment on my comment that said, y'all think we making this stuff up. And he gonna say, it's not racism, it's just preference. Imagine you chilling with a girl. Imagine I'm chilling with a girl, right? And she says, yeah, my last boyfriend was Cambodian. And I say, what? You fucked a Cambodian? You fucking Asian? Oh my God, that's dirty. That's disgusting. Like, be for real, bruh. How much hate you got in your heart? And then the dude that said it's just preference, he gonna tell me, he gonna say, I have 3 different types of African in my blood. I'm not racist. Baby, that 23andMe don't mean nothing. Please. Nah, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. That's all I had to tell him. I had to tell him that 23andMe, you took it to heart. Them folks don't know you. I know I'm black by looking in the mirror. And he just hate black people. You gotta hate somebody. You have to seriously hate somebody to say, I'm not dating a woman that ever touched them because it disgusts me. Do y'all not see how that's racist? The problem that I'm coming across is when I was growing up, most people knew they were racist. They had it in them. They was born with it. Their grandfather instilled it in them. Their father instilled it in them. They knew how to maneuver around in work situations and school situations. But at home, they know their family dynamic. And they did not want black people near them, close to them, in their vicinity. They didn't have sleepovers with the black kids. They didn't have black kids coming over to the 8th birthday party. We knew who they was. But now we have an issue in this country of white people being racist and not even knowing that they're racist. I need some white people to explain to me. Can some white people please comment and explain to me how your colleagues don't know they're racist? And this is why I see more and more white people stepping up for black people nowadays in 2024, because they're realizing that their grandparents, their cousins, their aunts, they're realizing like, whoa, whoa. I just can't imagine sitting chilling with a girl watching football, having a great time, and then saying, you fucked a Mexican? Brother, seek therapy.
Fully aware that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating black men. I am so tired of the lack of commitment, the lack of support, the lack of encouragement, the lack of money. Like, I don't know what to do from this point on. But I can tell you one thing. My interest in dating another black man is like 1% at this point. They want us to be ride or dies until they get their shit together. And then they don't want to support us in return. They don't want to commit to us. They don't want to marry us. But then they want all the benefits of being a husband without actually proposing to us. I need someone who's intentional in every single aspect.
And when y'all get on here and talk about how y'all not dating black men anymore, I shut up so hard. I super shut up. I was just watching this girl's video, and she says that she wants to list out the reasons why she won't be dating black men anymore. And she starts off with, they don't take care of their kids, they're not reliable, they're not supportive, they don't make good financial decisions. Then they want us to pay half the bills, sleep with them, take care of the kids, cook, clean, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, and the caption was, most black men, da-da-da-da-da. And as a woman who quite literally has spent a considerable amount of time around men in my life, especially my formative years, because I worked in barbershops. At one point, I was the only girl working in a barbershop. I really got to understand and learn, and I'm also curious and inquisitive about the nature and the mind of men. Because I actually like men. Not just romantically love men, but I actually like men. And just like we talk about how some men don't like women, some women don't like men. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I literally don't know any men who don't take care of their children. And I know a plethora of men. I don't know any that don't take care of their children. And she was like, taking care of your kids is not just paying child support. Just because you have a poor situation with maybe your children's father, or maybe, I don't know, you've heard a couple of baby mama, baby daddy stories, does not equate to all black men, or even most black men not taking care of their kids. In fact, research shows us that more black men are involved today than ever in their children's lives. Let's start there. Okay, you say they're not reliable and they're not supportive. I can call at least 10 to 20 men right now and say I need whatever, and I am not romantically involved with these men. And I could call them right now and say I'm in an emergency, or I need da-da-da-da-da-da. And they will be Johnny or Jamarcus on the spot. She said that they want us to pay half the bills, cook, clean, take care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you need to be an adult. Like, you're grown. You created certain bills, or you should have created certain bills by now just by being an adult. So yes, if you are in a partnership with someone, you should expect to contribute something. And vagina doesn't count. If you actually sit down and have real conversations with men, and you sit down and you have real conversations with women, you really see just how overlooked men can be. You really see how unseen they are in certain situations. And I take this seriously, one, because again, I like men, but two, I am a mother to a boy. And I'd be damned if one of these women, or one of these little girls out here thinks that my son is just supposed to be their utility. No, and I'm teaching him at a very early age he has worth and he has value. He is also to respect women. He is also to not treat any woman how he would not want me to be treated. That's definitely instilled in him. But he is not just for your consumption. And neither are any of these men. I have brothers, I have platonic friends, like, and some of y'all women really just be bulldozing. And you think because you got something between your legs that they don't have, that you are the prize. You're not the prize just because you have a vagina. You're not a high value woman just because you have a vagina. And I'm tired of people thinking that. I have too many conversations with guys where I'm just like, you're not seen, you're not listened to, you're not heard, you're overlooked. But yet somebody wants you to keep, I don't know, waking up every day, putting hands to the plow, going out here and fighting the world, and they gotta come home and fight too. So I don't know what this, maybe it's a trendy topic or whatever, but I pray to God every day that my soulmate is a black man. And if my soulmate is anything other than a black man, then I will probably die single. this is a stupid conversation that's being had, and I don't know if it's like I said, if it's trendy, if it's a thing to talk about to get views, likes, comments, and shares. But y'all gotta learn how to stand on something. You think that other men of other races aren't gonna dog you out? The same ones whose ancestors purchased your people like property, like cattle? You think that's not ingrained in them? You think that's not in their DNA? Please. And also, let's touch on the topic of the selfishness that some women possess. So, it's your birthday or it's a holiday and you want this man to go all out for you. You want this, and this, the finest. You want to live in a lap of luxury. When it's his special days, his birthday, Father's Day, or some important event for him, you want to get his socks and a robe. And it's not about just the gifts. It's about the thoughtfulness behind the gift. You can give a man something small and he will be so appreciative. A good man, a mature man, he will be so appreciative because you put special thought into it. But a lot of y'all don't listen to him long enough to find out what he likes. A lot of y'all are so combative. And I'm not saying, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to speak up. I'm not talking about sitting there and just being docile and meek and mild and you don't have a voice. A real man doesn't even want that. But a lot of women, and again, I have a lot of conversation with women as well. A lot of women are selfish. Very, very selfish. And we have got to come together as black women and black men. We cannot be on this app in front of others talking about how we have such disdain for each other. We got to get to the root of the problem. And it's going to require some level of vulnerability. It's going to require, vulnerability. Y'all know what I mean. It's going to require that. It's going to require us to die to our egos on both sides. We're going to have to die to our egos and come together for this thing to work. But I'll be daggone if I get on here talking about I'm not dating black men anymore. Please. I'd rather fight every day. I'd rather go through the trenches with black men any day. Because you're going to go through stuff with any race of men. You're going to go through it with men or women because we're different. Regardless. I'd rather be in this fight with a black man.